Bruce, thank you for taking the time today to tell us about your experiences of attending the Hills EPET Every Time Roadshow, which you attended last year. So in your own words, tell us a little bit about what you got from spending a day at the EPET Every Time Roadshow.
I went to the Chester Roadshow last spring, and I just thought it was a really good day. It nicely constructed because it broke down into parts, so we sort of got going with an intro, then there's a little bit of Hills feed in, and then passed over to yourself. And as is often the case, it's the delegates that make a day, isn't it? It's the interaction between the delegates, and we were blessed in our team or our day to have people from all levels of practice. I sadly had to go on my own, and I would recommend that people took other members of the team, preferably on the same day if you can. So if you can take some nurses or receptionists, maybe a practice manager, people who, I mean, I would even say take your skeptics, because they often are the people who, if they do a roadshow like that, will be turned, and they'll understand, they can see the benefits. But for me, I was with a couple of practice managers. I was with a marketing gentleman from one of the bigger hospital groups in Manchester, and we were just sharing some things. As always, I like the fact you got some take-home practical solutions, little things that we could do, and we got some bigger concepts, some of which we haven't done yet and we wish we had, but we've got a team going to this year to the 2015 Roadshow, and they're going to hopefully come back with that little bit more engagement, shall we say. But we've done a lot of journey so far, and we've actually taken the EPET and had some ongoing training for others in the team in-house as well.
So if you were to think about, if we just go very quickly through the day, the morning had the Hills bit in it, and then the concept of there being the journey on which the customer goes through. So thinking about where you can put the way score recommend into the customer's life. What things do you think were important or new or different about getting across to everybody, the practice managers, reception nurses, that each time you're touching that pet that we need to bring in what its weight is, what its body condition is, and what it's eating? What part of that struck you as important?
I think the important part of every pet, weighed, scored, recommended every time, was the opportunities that different layers of the team can get involved in, because a lot of simplistic outlook would be the vets will say, well, the nurses do all that. Or the receptionists will say, we're not allowed to do that. We can't diagnose. Because we do say to the receptionist, oh, don't tell them it's got diabetes yet. But everybody can get involved in this. And so if you're waiting to go and see the vet, if the dogs are weighed on the scales and it's recorded, and if the client has questions, the receptionist records the question on behalf of the vet. Doesn't have to answer it, just records that there is a question. And the nurses just love getting involved in the clinic aspect. It may not be that you have a Thursday afternoon as weight clinic, but if you give a nurse a chance to have their own room, their own space, and to engage with clients, and we know about white coat syndrome. People look at a vet who talks for 10 minutes and they say, I heard nothing. They look at a nurse and they listen to a nurse talking for 10 minutes and they hear everything. So those little bits came through really well. So I think it all matters. Probably more importantly is the bit about how often do we see it from the client's point of view, but we don't take the time to really look at it from the client's point of view. We know that we should sit in our own reception chairs and look at how dirty the front of the reception desk is, and etc. But through the videos and the focus groups and the discussion points, we went back to what do you think the client's experience might be.